Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Just got home. Didn't want to do my hair or change my clothes, so I just, combed it back a little bit, whatever. But I wanted to post something real quick and a little bit of comic relief. Even though this is a dead serious type of stuff, we are talking about war and these current events, I still wanted to bring some comic relief. And what better comic relief than this administration? These people, remember when they thought this right here was the peak of comedy? Like what? I think it was like 3 months ago they were doing this. Maybe a little longer, 6 months ago, whatever. I mean, it all seems like ages. But look at these guys, man. And it's like these children who love children. You know what I mean? They're into some freaky stuff. And if we remember, look in the files, they're into this kind of freaky stuff, man. They're into this kind of movie play. They like it. And apparently they like the taste too. So, I mean, it's telling and it's really poetic because, obviously we look at the news today and, what do we see? What do we see? Oh, the aircraft character. These fecal philiacs off the Mediterranean, their shit show is being stopped by a shit show. Let's be real. And it's real interesting. Speaking of the Mediterranean, it's they'd have stopped that Mediterranean diet. Maybe these obese, gross, this joke of an idea of an armed forces that this country has under the Trump administration. What was it? The Secretary of War or whatever his name is. The alcoholic Kafir, the farmer. Got the tattoo of farmer Kafir John. Was bitching about him being fat or whatever. So obviously they haven't improved their diets and they're clogging the toilets, but it's okay. They don't need working toilets because they're like real close. They want to shoot down all the big bad Iranian missiles, that they're not afraid of. Iran's, incapable. They're weak. They're a regime that's going under. They're just about to topple, and they have no military force. They have no military power. But we need to send 1/3 of America's air assets into the region because they're not a threat. They're about to fall. But it's okay. You don't need the toilets on the boat because you're real close to the main investor who has stockpiles upon stockpiles of Pampers. You know how like Iran and Iran and our boys with yellow. I don't want to say their names. Our boys with the yellow. Yellow flags are heroes the north of the occupied lands. They have in Iran. They have the big underground cities full of armaments. Well, just south of that Litani River, just south of Lebanon, they have giant, from what I hear, cities, diaper cities, like boxes and boxes of the hafada. Diapers upon diapers, like instead of racks on racks on racks, they got stacks on stacks on stacks of how diapers are stacked up. So there you go. You can just have a little dinghy fly, go ashore and, they'll get you diapers. There you go. Problem solved. War can still be on. Let's get it. Let's see that, if we can go more than 12 days was 25%, but at a more of a limited capacity. Yeah, I don't think we have enough THAAD to last us more than 10 days if it goes all out. But try your luck with that. I don't want to see it, even though in a fictional world it would be interesting to see the consequences of that, wouldn't it? Anyhow, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And to the sailors on the U.S.S. whatever, Fort, just remember, it's better to wash with water. Take some of our culture while you're over there getting tortured. Use water, don't just use the paper. Assalamu alaikum.